going to visit in California. California, no doubt about it. California, no doubt about it. So touchdown in the Bay Area. Bay Area. Big up Bay Area. Touchdown and saw my aunt. This was supposed to be for 2 weeks visit, and I fell in love with California. I was like, California is going to be my new home. My aunt and I, may her soul rest in peace. Our relationship has proven to be something that I would never had predicted. And the prediction wasn't for the worst. I thought it was going to be for the best, but it turned out that we both were on different frequencies in life, in thought, and in energy. And so I had to shift my frequency really quickly to my own. And this is where I had to now really be an adult and take care of everything for myself. At age 22, I moved to California and I decided to leave. My 2 weeks became 21 years of living in California, and I loved it. I met my ex-husband there. I had my son there and raised my son there and had my adult experiences there. And being on my own without family or support. And my dad called me one day and said, I hear you're in California now, so what happened? I said, yes, I've decided to live in California because so much was happening at the time and life has brought me here and I'm going to try life here. While I was in California, I got real hit with the beat and was dancing to that beat right through. I can say here that when I became 25 years old, I heard that my dad was coming to California to the Menzine to perform in San Francisco. And by this time, I had a little entertainment circle that I was already in. The Angel Magic group I was a part of, printing the flyers and a part of distributing the flyers, promoting the shows. And within that circle, I've met other people that knew of my background and knew who my dad was. And that's why I said small world, because you never know who knows you or who knows your family. And this brother, I will not disclose his name, he contacted me and he's like, hey, your father coming. I have all the information and I'll let you know. So I'm like, yes, I'm excited. I haven't seen him from I was 22. And I want to see him. But fast forward to 22. So 22 years old, I went and visited my dad in Kingston, and I was talking to him, and I was, giving him the rundown on life, and you know, it was 21, not 22, 21. I was 21 years old. So I went and I visited him, and by this time I was already catching him up that I had returned back to Jamaica because of Anthony. I couldn't escape him. I was still in touch with him, and I had grew to love this man. I came down because the distance, and my heart could not stop me from, my heart was not allowing me, my brain, to say no. And so I returned to Jamaica, and I was now staying with my father's baby mother, who she had the 4 children from my dad. I was staying by their home, living with them at this time, enrolled into fashion school in Jamaica, and also the Edna Manley School of Arts. And I was doing fashion designing and doing visual arts in Edna Manley School of Arts, and still had access to seeing Anthony at the same time. So my dad was in the country, and I decided that I was going to go ahead and visit him because I haven't seen him in so long. And we were talking, and I was giving him the changes that I was going through. I didn't disclose that I was still seeing Anthony, but however, I was just updating him on everything. He came at one time to visit us over by the house with me and my siblings and the baby mom. I will not share their names either, but however, this was the time where I was now sharing my poetry and my songs to my dad. The baby mom knew of this, and my dad was looking through, and he was excited about some of the songs, and he's like, yeah, I love this song, we're gonna have to sit down about these songs because I love this one. And he was interested in knowing more, and he wanted this song, that he wanted to receive this song from me and use this song. And I was saying, I'm excited about this. The baby mom heard all of this, and she saw this, and this was part of my dream when I was growing up, to write songs for my dad and to be in that life. And so when I had went this day to go meet with him, I wanted to catch up with, with him on when can we start going to the studio with each other and writing and all this stuff. But at the same time, there were some other things that was personally bothering me, and I wanted to share these things with him. And so I told him, can we sit down and reason with each other, because there's some things that I want him to know that is really bothering me. And he said, sure. So I was talking to him about, wanting to be a singer, and then he told me, I don't think that's the path for you to go, like the music industry. And he's telling me, if I do go into something like that, he would prefer for his daughters to be not in the limelight of it, but in the background of it. Like we could do like either writing or do like other stuff, but not, he wouldn't recommend to be on the stage being a singer and touring and all of these things. And I was like, why? And like I really want to do this. And he was not in agreement with it. However, I went on to share with him the other things that was bothering me. I said to him, I know you use the word daughter to me, but I feel like it's used on a superficial level, and in actions, I feel something different. I said, like, more like a charity. That's what I said. These are the words I used. And I said, it bothers me deeply because I could feel something in you, and it bothers me. And I want to ask you, do you think I am your real daughter, like your blood daughter, biological daughter? And then he said, I'm going to be honest. No, I do not think you're my biological daughter. And that shot my heart. But I was brave because I know that I am not in agreement with him. So I said, so what about what happened in the room that night with my mother? He said, I'm going to be honest, I don't remember. He said, it was so much of us in the room and I don't remember any of that. And he was honest enough to tell me, at that time, to be honest, I really don't remember. So I said, if you don't remember, what do you think is the proper thing to do? And he said, what do you mean? I said, if a father is not 100% sure if a child is his, wouldn't that father want to do a DNA test? He looked at me. I said, so what I am saying to you, this is what I'm saying, because he's looking at me. So I said, what I am saying to you is I'm requesting a DNA test because that's the only way we're going to know 100% sure if I am your biological child. He straight up denied it. He said, I'm not going to do that. I said, you're declining me of a DNA test? You're declining us of a DNA test? He said, yes, I am not going to do that. I won't be doing that. I'm not going to be doing that. I said, really? Why? I have my reasons, and I'm not going to be doing that. So it's like, what? I said, how are you? I said, well, you have no rights then to deny me. You have no rights. I said, you could feel what you want to feel, but no, you have no rights to deny me because you're denying me of a DNA test, us of a DNA test, a test that sets you free and a test that sets me free. But right now we are bonded and you're not going to be free of me because this is now a lifetime that you have denied and a lifetime of me always going to have this feeling and you going to have this feeling. And only one way for us to end this is that DNA. And you're saying you're final with this. You're not going to give me a DNA. He said, no, I'm not. We went on to talk about the whole situation. And he says, I remember your mom. I was going to have her be a backup singer of mine. He said, yes, he remembered the night at the hotel. He remembers all of them having fun. He said, yes, he remembers swimming in the pool with her. He remembered all going into the bed and sleeping, but you don't remember anything else. And he's like, I'm going to be honest. At that time of my life, I was young. I was doing a lot of drugs and drinking a lot of alcohol. And some things I just don't remember. So I said, so that tells you that you can't deny certain things. Next part.